21. 7. to 9. 18-20. Unselfishness, humility, meekness. Moses' chief interests were in Jehovah's name and his people. Consequently, he was not one to seek glory or position. When Jehovah's Spirit came upon certain men in the camp and they began to act as prophets, Moses' assistant Joshua wanted to restrain them, evidently because he felt that they were detracting from Moses' glory and authority. But Moses replied, "Are you feeling jealous for me? No, I wish that all of Jehovah's people were prophets, because Jehovah would put his spirit upon them." New 11. 24-29. Although he was Jehovah's appointed leader of the great nation of Israel, Moses was willing to accept counsel from others, particularly when it would be of value to the nation. Shortly after the Israelites left Egypt, Jethro visited Moses, bringing with him his wife and sons. Jethro observed how hard Moses was working, wearing himself out handling the problems of everyone who came to him. He wisely suggested an orderly arrangement wherein Moses would delegate degrees of responsibility to others, to lighten his load. Moses listened to Jethro's advice, accepted it, and organized the people into thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens, with a chief over each group as a judge. Only the difficult cases were then brought to Moses. It is noteworthy also that Moses, explaining to Jethro what he was doing, said, "In the event that the people have a case arise, it must come to me and I must judge between the one party and the other, and I must make known the decisions of the true God and his laws." In this, Moses indicated that he recognized his duty to judge, not according to his own ideas, but according to Jehovah's decisions, and that, moreover, he had the responsibility to help the people to know and recognize God's laws. Acts 18. 5-7, 13-27. Moses repeatedly pointed to Jehovah, and not himself, as the real leader. When the people began to complain about food, Moses told them, "Your murmurings are not against us, Moses and Aaron, but against Jehovah." Acts 16. 3-6-8. Possibly because Miriam felt her prominence might be eclipsed by the presence of Moses' wife, she and Aaron jealously and disrespectfully began to speak against Moses and his authority. The record shows that their speech was all the more contemptible, because it is at this point that it says, "The man Moses was by far the meekest of all the men who were upon the surface of the ground." Moses apparently was hesitant to assert himself, meekly enduring the abuse. But Jehovah was incensed at this challenge, which was actually an affront to Jehovah himself. He took up the issue and severely chastised Miriam. Moses' love for his sister moved him to intercede for her, crying out, "O God, please. Heal her, please." New 12. 1-15. Obedience, waiting upon Jehovah. Moses waited upon Jehovah. Though he is called Israel's lawgiver, he recognized that the laws did not originate with him. He was not arbitrary, deciding matters on his own knowledge. In legal cases in which there was no precedent, or where he could not discern exactly how to apply the law, he presented the matter to Jehovah to establish a judicial decision. 24. 10-16, 23. New 15. 32-36. 27. 1-11. He was careful to carry out instructions. In the intricate work of constructing the tabernacle and making its utensils and the priest's garments, Moses exercised close oversight. The record reads, "And Moses proceeded to do according to all that Jehovah had commanded him." He did just so. Acts 40. 16. Compare New 17. 11. Repeatedly we find other statements that things were done just as Jehovah had commanded. O text to acute miritra longo. Moses 439 directed attention to themselves, Moses saying, "Hear, now, you rebels. Is it from this crag that we shall bring out water for you?" With that, Moses struck the rock and Jehovah caused water to flow forth, sufficient for the multitude and their flocks. But God was displeased with the conduct of Moses and Aaron. They had failed of their primary responsibility, namely, to magnify Jehovah's name. They acted undutifully toward Jehovah, and Moses had spoken rashly with his lips. Later Jehovah decreed, "Because you did not show faith in me to sanctify me before the eyes of the sons of Israel, Therefore you will not bring this congregation into the land that I shall certainly give them. New 20. 1-13. The 32. 50-52. PS 106. 32, 33. A writer. Moses was the writer of the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible, namely, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. His writership has been acknowledged by the Jews throughout their history, this section of the Bible being known by them as the Torah, or law. Jesus and the Christian writers frequently speak of Moses as giving the law. He is generally credited with writing the book of Job, also Psalm 90 and, possibly, 91. Mount 8. 4. Lu 16. 29. 24. 27. Row 10. 5. 1 Co 9. 9. 2 Co 3. 15. Heb 10.